Hi, what's up everybody? This is one of the first times I've done one of these videos in a little while, so I apologize for the rough edges. But I'm going to be doing a breakdown of the new Custodian units that were just announced in beta form fairly recently. So if you're new to this, you can check it out by doing what I did. Google new Custodian units, and it should bring you to several different links on the community websites, mostly through Forge World. But if you're not familiar, I'm going to be going through each sheet myself and talking about the changes and what I think is good and bad about them. And then you guys can just use this video as a resource. I love Custodes. If you're wondering, I'm currently the #1 player in the ITC in Custodes, but I suspect that will not be true after the LVO. As I'm not able to play in it, I will be commentating it alongside my absolute lover, Frankie. I was about to say it's plutonic, but it's not. There's a lot of sexual energy going on there, and I think you guys should all know about that. And you probably do. And if you don't, just check out the broadcast LVO, and you'll definitely see it there. Anyways, introductions aside, I want to talk about the Custodian units and talk about why I think they're good or bad, and just kind of talk about them from the angle of competitive usefulness. So if you're a beer and pretzels guy and you're really upset that I'm about to talk about something not from the perspective of can it hold off a horde of 100 Gene Stealers, I apologize. This video is probably not for you. I think that is about it to say. So without further ado, I'm going to break away from this screen and go line by line showing this and talk about it in full. Okay, so first of all, the Adeptus Custodes beta data sheets. Not a whole lot here to look at. The Aegis of the Emperor is an important rule, of course. It means you have that 5++ invulnerable, and then you also have a Feel No Pain of sorts during the Psychic phase. This gets improved to a 4++ if you have a full detachment of Custodes, which is like what everyone has now. It's what you have to do. But unfortunately, that's mostly on infantry, I believe. It specifically says that if not... Well, anyways, this rule is only on infantry, so your dreadnoughts don't just straight up get it. Let's tackle the Contemptor Achilles dreadnought first. So this big bad boy is the one with the spear. It's a gorgeous model. This dreadnought specifically is one of the reasons I bought the entire Forge World line anyways, because I just think it's amazing. A giant dreadnought with like literally a dreadnought-sized spear is the kind of stuff that I get really excited about. So it comes with that spear, and then it comes with 2 Last from Storm Bolters. And the Last from Storm Bolter, as you can see, is range 24, rapid fire 2, strength 5, -1, 1 damage. So it's just like a little bit stronger heavy bolter. And then it's rapid fire 2, which means it's not actually stronger at all. It's different. But anyways, that's what it is. It comes with those. You very often could see yourself upgrading it to an Infernus Incinerator. They're a little bit pricey, but it's a stronger heavy flamer. Notice it only has range 8 though, so if you deep strike in, you are not flaming out of deep strike, which is important to note. Also, not a whole lot of people are going to be charging this dreadnought, so the usefulness as an anti-charge is a little bit reduced there. But at the same time, it still is a nice little chafe clearer because it's a heavy D6, but you can give it 2 of those, so it can be heavy 2d6, which is a lot of damage coming out. But just breaking down the dreadnought in general, it moves 9 inches, has a weapon skill of 2 and a bliss skill of 2, strength 7, toughness 7, wounds 10, attacks 4, leadership 8, save 2+, and then a little bit out of sorts here, but I will say it has a 6+ Feel No Pain as well, which on average means you're getting about 1 wound back out of only the 10. So the stat line is interesting to look at. The movement's great, the strength is good, the toughness at 7 is really nice. Only 10 wounds, and then 4 attacks is a little bit on the... It's like a 0.5 on the unimpressive side. It's cool, but without that like sweeping attack or something where every attack counts as 2 against, you know, hordes or something like that. It definitely kind of hamstrings this dreadnought into a specific category where it's good but not great. And then it becomes a point liability. So if this guy was 200 points plus, I think it would be a pretty bad dreadnought almost immediately. But because it's pretty fairly priced... And I believe it's about 165. I'll get into the specifics at the end of this, but I want to say it's around 165 points before you upgrade its bolters into flamers, if you do go that route. Keep it at sub 200, around 165, 170, that area. Then we're talking about a very good dreadnought. The part about this dreadnought that I do not like is that it only has a 5++ invul save, and there actually is no way to improve that. There's no stratagem, there's no aura, there's nothing. It just has a 5++. With only 10 wounds, a couple things get through, and this dreadnought is hurt because it also degrades, which I think is a missed opportunity on this. If you're going to only have 10 wounds on a vehicle like a dreadnought like this, degrading is a little bit silly. Now, the nice thing is it starts off at a Custodian stat line, so going to weapon skill 3 or bliss skill 3, not a big deal. And then at worst, going to weapon skill 4, bliss skill 4, still not a big deal. It's the movement where it gets really bad. At 1 to 2 wounds, it's moving 4 inches, so it's just not doing much, and it's a melee dreadnought for the most part. So something to think about, but again, because of the points, I actually kind of like it for all that. Let's talk about a few of the things here. So its spear is pretty impressive. It's ×2 in melee, -3 d6 damage, but a minimum of 3 damage. And as a guy that's been playing the Abominate lately, I can tell you that that rule right there is pretty sick. You get 2 or 3 wounds through, you're doing a minimum of 6 damage, with the potential to do more than that, and you very often will. That's an incredibly safe and nice little safety net of damage right there. It packs a wallop. And at strength 14, it's a little bit of a weird spot. It hurts a Primarch on a 2, but it hurts a Knight still on a 3. Whatever. I'm not gonna cry too hard about that. And then the -3 is I think that should have been a -4. It's a gigantic glittering lightning spear that's literally like 20 feet long. Come on! -3? Anyways. It also has a shooting mode. Strength 8, -2, D3 damage. Heavy D3 shots. Range 24. So again, Bliss Skill 2. You're pretty reliably putting this bad boy into a couple of things. Now, the deceiving thing here is that Strength 8 and D3 damage are immediately like, wow, it's anti-tank. -2, most things are getting a 5-up save. If they're in cover and obscured, it becomes a 4-up save, or if they have a better save anyways. So it's a little bit in a weird spot. The -2 is strange. I would have loved to have this just been straight Melta. Strength 8, -4, D6 damage. D3 shots. It's a spear-sized... I guess it doesn't say. It just says Achilles Dread Spear. But come on, it's a Dreadnought spear-sized giant gun. Again, it's not terrible. It's just in a weird spot. You probably still just shoot this at a tank, hoping to do a couple of wounds. But there's just too many variables here. D3 damage, D3 shots, -2. So they're making 1 or 2 saves. You roll a 1 for damage, and you get 1 shot. Ugh. It does nothing. So don't rely on that. Almost don't even consider it part of the profile. The range 24 is nice, though. But again, with this Dreadnought, the kind of silly thing about that is that if it's not up close to things that it's killing, then it's just dead. It's 10 wounds, so it can always be targeted. It only has 10 wounds. It only has a 5++. So you should deep strike it. It should be charging. And it should be getting into the thick of things. That's the best place for it to be. It also explodes, and it has Impaling Lunge, which is on a 4+. Something within 1 inch of it you select when you charge. It gets D3 mortal wounds. That's nice. But again, I'm not writing home to my family about it. So a very cool Dreadnought, but I think it's outperformed by this big bad boy down here. Contemptor Galladus Dreadnought. Similar stat line across the board in terms of degrading, movement, weapon skill, bliss skill. All that stuff is the same. Its sword is only strength +5. Actually, it says 6 here. No, that's the shooting. Excuse me. Its strength is user. Oh, hang on. They changed that from when I was using it. Whoa. It used to be +5. Strength user. So that means it's strength 7, -3, 3 damage flat. Every hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional. So you're getting like 1, maybe 2 more attacks per swing. Again, weapon skill 2, so you're hitting all 3 or 4 times. Sometimes getting a 5th one in there. -3, 3 damage flat. Again, the 3 damage flat is nice. It does put this thing in an interesting spot as well, where it's not really a night killer, obviously, right? You're not looking at huge swaths of damage coming out from it. But what I really like about this Dreadnought is, again, it's cheap, around 162, 165 points, somewhere in that ballpark. It, all of its equipment is free, and then it can take... Oh, they changed this too. You guys are seeing me learn this a little bit. It used to be that it could take the flamers. It actually had the flamers on it. That's no longer the case, so it doesn't have the flamers, so that keeps it very cheap, but that's fine. But the 4++, that's a big deal. In melee, and then it's a -1 to hit in melee as well. So it can be a little bit of a interesting thing. No, excuse me. It has a 4++ in general, but it has a -1 to hit as well in melee. There, I read it correctly on the 15th time. I apologize. 4++ is a big deal. It's night and day from a 5++. I know that seems like I'm splitting hairs, but I'm really not. It means that it just has that much more survivability. And the -1 to hit in close combat is nice. It's like a, whatever. It's kind of like the shooting spear. It's not, it doesn't factor in at all on why you would take it, but it is a nice little thing. It also has a 6+ feel no pain. Also explodes. It's mostly that this is cheaper. It has a better save. Oh no, there it is. That's so funny. Okay, hang on, guys. They changed the flamer. Yeah, they changed the flamer into it just being what that's the warblade that does it. So it does have the 2 flamers. But it's built into the cost of the knight, or the dreadnought. That's cool. This is the one. I own the Spear Dread, so I'm not saying this out of like bitter. Jeff doesn't own that model, so that's why he doesn't like it. But this is the better one. It's just much more reliable, a little bit cheaper, similar shooting, and more defensible. The damage output obviously is less, but not by a whole lot, to be brutally honest with you guys. It's, again, you don't toss it into a knight and expect it to come out having just chopped it at the knees and destroyed it. But you do throw it into squads of anything, and it's going to be very defensive. I love the 2+ save on them. They're good. Aquilon Custodians. So these guys are the other Terminators. Exact same stat line as them, unless I'm missing something. I do believe they're missing the keyword. Yeah. Oh no, they had Terminator. Okay, interesting. They have natural deep strike. They have access. I think they come with the Solarite Power Gauntlet. That's right. So that puts them at strength 10, -4 D3 damage each. These guys pack a frickin' wallop. And right here is where you would think it would say -1 to hit, but it doesn't. They literally hit on 2s. That is pretty awesome. You could also take the Power Talon, but I don't know why you would. You get to reroll to wound. It's 1 damage. Strength is +1. I don't know. I think it's just strictly the inferior choice. And then let's look at the Fire Pike. And yeah, okay. So the Fire Pike's pretty cool. A lot of people are talking about this. It is range 12. Heavy D6, strength 6, -1 damage. It's a flamer. But importantly, it's range 12. So you actually can deep strike in and flame. And that's a pretty incredible ability. Not just flame, by the way. It's range 12. So you can actually flame like 2 layers of something. If something's behind a row or whatever. The rest of it, I'm not super big on. The Twin Adrathic Destructor, range 18, assault 2, strength 5, -3, 3 damage. But you wound yourself on a 1. Not super keen on that. You definitely have ways to reroll 1s in shooting through the Shield Captains or Trajan, excuse me. Or you can just reroll with the command point, that kind of stuff. So I get it, but I don't know. The strength 5 is awkward. 3 damage is super nice. But it looks like an infantry killing weapon, which I think the Infernus Fire Pike still just does better, as well as basically all their other gun options. So the 3 damage, like, what is that actually doing? It kills characters okay. Strength 5 means against most vehicles you're looking for 5s. I don't know. I don't like it. Personally, I think the stat line's kind of weird. These are great. I think you will see these guys in play, but when you do, you'll see them with the Infernus Fire Pike. And let me see what you have to do to equip that. Any model can be equipped with one of the following. Yeah, they just all take the Fire Pike is what I would do. And then keep the Power Gauntlet, assuming you can, which I believe you can. Solarite Power Gauntlet, yeah. So, Fire Pike and Gauntlet. Done. And this will see play. They're very good. Are they necessarily better than the Alaris Terminators? Yes and no. I don't think it's so night and day that you would only take these forever and the other ones are useless. I like this. I still do like the abilities that they have off those other Terminators, but I think that this is a healthy option, if maybe not slightly better. I think there is an argument to be made for that. Custodian Guard, but specifically with Adricite and Pyrothite Spears. So they are Custodian Guards. So I'm not going to talk about that. That's the basic trooper for the Custodes. But let's talk about the alternate spears they can take. So they are in melee exactly the same. +1 strength, -3 D3 damage. Nothing to say there. But the Pyrothite Spear, range 12, assault 1, Melta, strength 8, -4 D6 damage. And if you're at half range, you do 2d6. That is pretty sick, because one of the things that Custodes suffer from is not having access to anti-armor, so that's a huge deal. Adricite Spear shooting, range 18, assault 1, strength 5, -3, 3 damage, and you take a mortal. So there's that weird gun. I mean, feel free to let me know what you guys think about it. I think the moment you see Androcite, you can just go, pass! I don't know what that's supposed to be good against. The 3 damage is sick. The strength 5 and only -3. I mean, I say only -3. That's fine. Most things are getting a 6-up save, whatever. But assault 1 and strength 5 means that against even a vehicle like a guard tank at tough 6, you need a 5. So 1 or 2 get through, and you're doing 3 damage. Womp womp. I don't know. I don't like it. If it's assault 2, if it's multi-shots, something like that. Reroll to wound against vehicles. Something. Give me some direction here. Otherwise, just take the Pyrothite Spears, which I believe are slightly more expensive, but I think, and we'll get to the bottom of this this section when we do, I think it's a difference of like 3 points. I don't think it's that actually big of a deal. I love it. I love that it's on the normal chassis. They didn't make them weird soldiers or something like that. I will be taking some Pyrothite Spears myself. The anti-armor is hugely needed. They're so accurate at weapon skill, or excuse me, blow skill 2. And it's assault, by the way. Huge, huge thing here. This could have been heavy and I would have been understanding and accepting. But it's not. It's assault. So you can actually just shoot that out of deep strike, out of walking. You can run and be -1 on it. But oh no, you're hitting on 3s. And now you have Melta. So we're talking about some pretty serious damage. Love it. Big win there. Agamatus Custodians. This is the other bike unit, which I actually own a unit of. I'm pretty excited about that. These are just Praetors, so everything the same, except different weapon options, okay? So they have the Adrathic Devastator. Again, Jeff, what did you say? Did you say Adrathic or Adrathic, whatever that? Yes, I did. What does that mean? Well, it means you're hurting yourself again. It is strength 6 this time, so on the bike it's slightly better. It's heavy 2, which is always fun. That means that when you move, you're -1 to hit. So again, it's just bliss skill 3, but it's that little poke in the side, and then it's 1 mortal wound for every 1 you roll. No, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it when I have the twin last pulsar option. Better range, 24, heavy 2d3, it's more shots. Strength 8, -2, d3 damage. 3 bikes are putting out 6d3, strength 8, -2, d3 damage. And each bike, and I'll confirm this when we get down to the bottom of the page, they're like 115 points or 120. So it's expensive, don't get me wrong, but that's wonderful damage right there. The strength 8 is so nice. You're wounding knights on a 4, most other vehicles on a 3. If they're a flyer, yes, you're -1 for moving and then -1 again for them being a flyer, but so you're hitting on 4s. But it has the shots, 2d3 each. That's 2 to 6 shots each bike. So a potential of 18 shots off of only just 3 bikes. Obviously, that's rolling nothing but 5s and 6s, so it's going to be less than that. But again, you get the idea I have here, where you're putting out the DACA and then d3 damage. And the range is phenomenal as well. So that's a huge win for me. You give them that. And I believe they can still take a spear, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 1 twin last pulsar. Boom. Done! And I will be taking a unit of that in some of my lists as well, because I think that's really fantastic. Again, you'd probably keep it fairly low, because bikes die these days. And with the change to fly in the assault phase, they're just not as amazing. So don't go all in on that concept, but it's pretty cool. Another fast attack option here is the Venatari Custodians. And I believe these are the beautiful jump models we saw, and this is a new unit. So they actually do have a save of 3+. People were asking them about that, and they confirmed. Otherwise, the 3 attacks, 3 wounds, tough 5, strength 5, bliss skill, weapon skill 2. They move 12 because they're jump. That's all standard. And then they come with a Kinetic Destroyer and a Tarsus Buckler. The Kinetic Destroyer is a pistol, strength 6, -2, 2 damage. 6s get another hit in there. Cool. Tarsus Buckler's a bit weird. It's their melee and shooting, I think. No, it's just melee. +1, -2, 1 damage. So strength 6, -2, 1 damage. It's like a Misericordia, right? And then when resolving an attack with a weapon that has an armor penetration of -1 against them, it counts as 0. That's what the Buckler does. They can deep strike and they move 12. What about this unit gets me excited? That's a great question. Not much, to be honest with you. Jump. Some people were kind of all about that. The Lance is a standard Lance, so that's probably the most exciting thing, is its jump Custodian Guard is how I would kind of view them. But immediately the 3+ save takes that excitement and kind of puts it on the ground. I don't mind my Custodes moving 6 inches. I really don't. Them going to 12 doesn't do that much for me, because I still have my Praetors that are doing that. I have Terminators that are deep striking around, and I have vehicles that I'll get to in a second that I'm more excited about for this. So it's a cool idea. It's a gorgeous model. They're not super expensive in terms of cost, but their weapon output and then what they are at the cost of a save makes me less excited about them. If you think I'm wrong, I'd love to hear some thoughts from you. And then we have the Palace Grav. It says attack, but it's tank. 16-inch movement, weapon skill 6, blitz skill 2, strength 5, tough 6, wounds 8, attacks 2, leadership 9, save 3+. So this is the smaller tank. And it just comes with the Erectus Blaze Cannon, a twin Erectus Blaze Cannon, excuse me. So heavy 2, strength 7, -4, 3 damage. It has a 5+ invul save. It has power of the machine spirit, so it doesn't suffer any minus for moving. It's a hover tank, which is kind of cool, so it flies. And then all their tanks have this gravitic backwash rule, which I really, really like. If you target them for a charge, you're at -2 to charge. You put that in conjunction with Tanglefoot, and now they're -2 and then also -d6. Which in and of itself, you're like, well, they'll just never target the tanks for charging. Cool. That's something you can play to. You can block charges with the tanks and then have any Custodian infantry unit nearby within 12, and you become unchargeable. And for a lot of armies, that is a problem. That's a big, big deal. So this is the smaller version of the tank. It's very cheap. And that would be a big selling point for me for why you would throw it in the list. It's obviously not the damage output. It's kind of weird. The range is nice. The amount of shots, The -4 and 3 damage is pretty cool. And reroll to wound against a vehicle. So it's pretty cool. It's 3 to 6 damage against a vehicle per turn is nice. But it's mostly that it's so cheap and that it can basically kind of function as a rhino in terms of being hard to get off an objective with its, profile and its invul save, but then also it's a nice countercharge thing. Caladius Grav Tank. Similar stat line, but it's 14 wounds. It's slightly tougher at tough 7. Otherwise the same in terms of everything else. It moves 14 as opposed to 16, so slightly different there. And then this comes with twin Iliastus Accelerator Cannon and a twin Lastrum Bolt Cannon. So it's got that little bolt cannon. Heavy 6, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. Cool. Little anti-infantry. Then it's got this big gun that is, again, strength 9, -4, 3 damage. Reroll to wound against vehicles. And then the range 36. So a slightly bigger version of that gun. Or heavy 12, strength 7, -2, 1 damage. So again, it can clear out. It can put out some DACA. It's 18 shots at Bliss Skill 2. That's pretty freaking impressive. Still the same thing. It's a hover tank, 5+ invul, power of the machine spirit, gravitic backwash. I think this one slides into a much nicer category for me. Tough 7 and 6 is night and day. 7 is a different threshold of toughness. It's really nice. 14 wounds is a lot. And it's not actually that much more expensive than the other tank option. And it still comes with the anti-charge ability while still putting out a lot of DACA and a much more reliable anti-armor weapon. So this is a big win for me. You're going to see these on the tabletop for sure. It adds some range and anti-armor that Custodians desperately need. But like I said, it's got some other cool play there as well. Then we have the Telamon Heavy Dreadnought. This is a beast. An absolute beast. 14 wounds, tough 8, strength 8, attacks 4, leadership 8, save 2+. And then it can carry the 2 Arachnid Storm Cannons and a Spiculous Bolt Launcher. So that's 4 shots at strength 9, -4, 3 damage, rerolling against vehicles. Or it is 12 shots, strength 7, -2, 1 damage. And then you can put the flamer on it. You can keep the bolt launcher, which I would just do personally. And then I would never take the melee version of this, unfortunately. I fought for this to be less expensive, but I think it's, and we'll get down there in a second, it's 30 or 40 points to put 2 fists on it. And it comes with flamers, I believe. And it's strength 16, -3, 4 damage. That's really impressive. 5 attacks if you put 2 of them on it. It's mostly that the Dreadnought's not that expensive that makes that kind of nice, but at the same time, I just think with its shooting options, you're putting out that kind of damage or close to it at every phase of the game. Or well, not every phase, excuse me, but at least every turn of the game. Whereas with the fists, it's like 1 or 2 turns you're doing that. Unless it just dies, and then you're never doing it. This baby has a 4+ invul save. It has a Feel No Pain of a 6-up. It explodes, and then if it doesn't move, it shoots the Spiculous gun twice, which is pretty cool. It's 10 shots when you do that at range 24. Or you can overwatch with it and shoot twice as well. So that's all nice. It's mostly that it's long range, 72 inches, which is a huge deal for Custodes. It's super accurate. The 4+ is a big deal, and the tough 8 is a big deal as well. So this guy is really hard to remove. It's going to run you, I think it's about 260, 270 points, somewhere in that area. And at that cost for how staunch and durable it is, and also reliably hurting armor, which is, again, something Custodians struggle with, it fills a hole. Now, a lot of people are poo-pooing on this because it was more overpowered before these rules came out. That's fine. I'm telling you right now, as a cheaper option for how good it is, and it just please be happy with this. It fills a role in the Custodian list. It's still just as defensive, and it's, by the way, it moves 8 inches. So it's like not slowly walking around either. It's pretty sick. Sagittarum Custodians. These are Custodes with a gun. An assault 3, strength 5, -1, 1 damage, or range 12, assault 1, strength 5, -3, D3 damage. I like these guys. The big case I was making for them behind the scenes, I'm on the balance team, is I think they should be cheaper than your standard Custodian Guard. I would have liked that a lot more. These guys are also heavy support, which means filling out a battalion or something like that, they don't. So I don't like these as it is, actually. The gun's not super great. It's good, don't get me wrong, but it's not something that is not found elsewhere in the army. The range 36 is quite nice, but the fact that they don't really have any melee other than that they are just strength 5, and they'll have, their 3 attacks. They're Custodes, so they'll punch you in the face real good, but not super great. I would have liked, I don't know, they have a spear option or like a graduated Misericordia. I don't know, something. Or, and this is what I was pushing for, like I said, they should just cost less than the Custodian Guard option. Because again, this is heavy support. So if you're trying to fill out a battalion, this does nothing for you. You're not doing a brigade, because that's probably impossible in a 2,000 point list. So, if you're putting them in there, they're gorgeous models, by the way. I own 10. A unit of 10 of them dropping in or something like that. Is that pretty cool? Maybe. But again, at 55 points per model, I'm still not super excited about that. So, very cool model. I think they're close, but hopefully in the beta, they drop them in points, because I think they're a less sexy option than the Custodian Guard with spears, as they are troops, so they fulfill the battalion requirement. Their guns aren't so far off. The spear is 2 damage, and it's not that many shots less at double tap. I don't know. I'd love to hear if you guys think I'm wrong. The Coronis Grav Carrier. They made this a lot better as well. Arachnus Blaze Cannon and Twin Lastern Bolt Cannon. So it's got that gun on there again that rerolls damage against vehicles. It's nice. Only range 36, but whatever. It's okay. And this bad boy carries troops. So where does it say how many is? Can carry 6 Adeptus Custodes infantry models. I think that's fine. It's a bigger model. Its damage output is not as great. It's got 18 wounds, though, so it's kind of just like a better Land Raider, basically, with less damage output. The Grav tank ability is huge. You can get out of combat by flying over people, all that kind of stuff. Fly over terrain, all that kind of thing. That's very nice. But this is a little bit of a letdown for me as well. And it's almost not its own fault. It's just that it's nice, it's good, but it's not quite the tanks, which I thought were better. And then only carrying 6 guys... why? What are we doing with that? What are we doing with 6 guys on a grav tank? I don't know. If you own it, I think you can use it. But you should be saving up your money to buy this right here. The Orion Assault Dropship. I'm madly in love with the model. But I really like the rules, you guys. I really like the rules. And it's the dropship version that I want to go to. So it's a Flying Knight. Weapon skill, who cares? Movement, 12 to 22. Blitz skill, 2 to start with. Strength, 8. Toughness, 8. Wounds, 22. Attacks, don't care. Leadership 9, save 3+. It has an invul save. It is a flyer, so you're -1 to hit it. It cannot charge. It has hard to hit. It explodes. It's got power of the machine spirit. And it's a hover jet, so it actually can land down as well and doesn't have to move the full distance. But look at the armament. 2 Arachnus Heavy Blaze Cannons, 2 Twin Lastern Bolt Cannons, and 2 Spiculous Bolt Launchers. So... it's putting out double of all of this. So 2 shots, strength 9, -4, 3 damage, rerolling against vehicles. 6 shots, strength 7, -1, 2 damage. And then 12 shots, strength 6, -2, 1 damage. All at Blitz skill 2. That's the part that people forget. Hitting on 2s is a big deal, and you should have a shield captain or Trajan nearby. So you're just hitting every single one of those shots. It puts out a hurting. It's amazing. It also carries 12 Custodian infantry models, so that's like a unit of 10 of something if you want to be really cool, and then Trajan, or a Vexilla maybe in there, or 7, as well as 1 Contemptor Dreadnought, or the Venerable if you're being weird. That's awesome. That's absolutely amazing. If you can just dump off these guys in someone's face, they're in trouble. Okay, they're in a lot of trouble. So I'm pretty excited about this. They actually did take away the gun version of this. It looks like it's not here. That's too bad. It had a cool bomb on it. But that's fine. I own one. I'm going to be putting it in my list. I'll be experimenting with it. I'm excited. And here are those point values. So the Custodes, I believe it is just 155 because its Warblade is 0. The shield, where is that? 0. And then the sword has the thing. So it's 155 points. Guys, I think you can put that in almost every one of your lists pretty happily. The Achilles, I believe you don't pay for the spear either. Oh, it's not even there. Or maybe it's over here. Yeah, 0 points for that. And then you do pay for the twin lastrum, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they're 20 points. So he goes up to 150. Or maybe he has 2 of those and he's 170. Something like that. Again, well below 200, which is I think where it should be. But I think you just take the Custodes every time. But the Orion Assault Dropship is 280. I can't... You can do it later. I'm not going to do it on the video. But it comes out to about 450, 460, something like that with all of its weapons. That's really good. Really good. It's a flying knight in terms of damage armament, but then it can carry Custodes as well. So pretty happy with all of this. A lot of these guys are very affordable and good. I think the jump guys, like I said, are a bit of a whiff. I don't like the Sagittarium guys as a heavy support option. If you're playing them, I think that's cool. They're gorgeous models. But I think as they function in a list, it's pretty weird and bad. They should have been troop choices. They should have been less than a Custodes spear guy. And all of a sudden, they start to make a lot more sense to me. The Telamon is close to an auto take. Again, with all of its weapons, it's like 260 or 270 points, somewhere in that ballpark. 80 points below a Gallant, which is about right for something that hits that hard and still has a 4+ invul save, which is just amazing. So guys, this is a great update. I'm really excited about it. I've written a few lists. I'm going to keep this open because I'm going to play a game even tonight talking about this stuff. I'm going to be testing out the Flyer. I like the tanks. I like the Dreadnoughts. And I'm going to do some pure Custodian lists with this kind of stuff happening. Maybe I don't need guard in there as well. So I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are as well. Thank you for listening to this. If you enjoyed it, please give it that thumbs up. I'll be checking the comments and going back and forth with you guys. And hopefully we'll have some Codex reviews in the near future. You guys take it easy and have a great day.